Vâng, trong phần vừa rồi thì quý vị đã nghe những chia sẻ của Roger Yuan. Còn bây giờ mời quý vị cùng đến với những trải nghiệm của Van Snow. Anh là kỹ thuật dựng chính của bộ phim Lỡ Phật. So how did you get involved in this project?
Well, I first met Dustin, the last film I did, which was in Bangkok, and he was acting in that film, and I met him over there, and he really liked my editing and my work. I showed him some of the other films I did in America, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of this. I saw the script and loved the script, and an opportunity to come to Vietnam. I thought that was really cool.
Have you done something like this before, like a fantasy movie, action fantasy?
I've done action films, but nothing really fantasy sci-fi.
Okay.
And I love fantasy films. I love science fiction, so I knew I'd love it.
What seemed to be the hardest part of editing a fantasy action movie?
Well, there's a lot of visual effects in this film, so you'll see a lot of green screens. There's going to be a lot of CG, and I think that really adds a lot to the challenge because when you're looking at green screens, you know, there's nothing there. It's just green, and so you have to imagine what's going to be there. So when you're editing, you're not seeing the final product. You have to imagine what the audience will see when it comes out in theaters, and I think that's a little tricky because you know, as you're editing the film, you're like, oh man, is this ever going to look good? Is this green? You know, how's this going to look? But you know, you just have to kind of go by faith and edit it the way you'd edit a normal movie and see how it comes together.
How did you deal with the language barrier? Because all the script in the Vietnamese and you at the film editing, you have to watch this all day, right?
Yeah. In fact, all my friends are like, why are you editing a Vietnamese film, man? How are you going to do that? Isn't that impossible? And it was very challenging. I've never edited a foreign film before, but I liked having that challenge. But it wasn't too bad, actually. I had an English version of the script, so I could follow along as I watched the scenes. I had a great assistant editor who could translate things for me. He spoke great Vietnamese and English. And I also put in like temporary subtitles to help me, you know, through the editing process. But it was tough because it took a lot longer to go through the footage, and you know, actors will improvise, and I have to like keep up with them, you know. And I remember there'd be times like I'll be cutting a scene and I'm trying to find like a certain sound that they make would be like my sync point. You know, to me it's a sound. For you guys it's a word. But like you guys speak Vietnamese, to me it's just a sound.
You don't understand a word.
I don't understand what they're saying.
Just hear something.
I'm assuming what they're saying is what I read on the script.
Okay.
And sometimes that changes. But I mean, while it was challenging, it was a lot of fun too because it allowed me to experiment in different ways I haven't done before. And it was just really cool. You know, I feel like once I've edited this film in a foreign language, I could edit anything.
Do you follow the film crew when they do shooting?
Editor, for this one I did not.
Okay. But did you have to?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
But usually the editor will start working while they're filming. But he should not be on set, I believe, because, and there's an important reason behind that. Is the editor, if he's on set and he sees, you know, like say they're shooting in a house and there's 3 rooms or whatever, and he understands the geography of that. He knows where the cameras are set up. He knows where all the props are and everything. But if the editor doesn't see that, much like the audience, they don't see that. So he can come from an audience point of view, and when I'm editing, I only see what was shot on camera. I don't see like all the logistical challenges that they were facing on set. So I can make more objective decisions.
Oh, really? If you be on the set and you see everything, that's kind of hard for you too.
Right, and also if an angle doesn't make sense for me, I know it won't make sense for the audience.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm seeing it for the first time like the audience would. So that's one reason why it's good for the editor not to be on set. But it is important, I think, for the editor to start his job as soon as they start filming so they can expedite the process.
It's interesting. It's very interesting to know that you learn all of this by yourself. You don't officially graduate from any school. How did you break into the industry, man?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to college. I kind of self-taught. I was really fortunate to get some great opportunities. I moved to LA as soon as I graduated high school. Started off with just an internship. And from there, just moved up. I first started supervising post-production at a post house. And from there, I got opportunities to edit feature films, and I fell in love with that. So,
is college degree something that require if you want to, you know, move along with this career path?
In
America?
For the film industry itself, I would say no, it's not entirely necessary. And that's because filmmaking is an art. If you want to go to film school, I wouldn't discourage you. I think it's a great opportunity to meet people in the industry, to network, to find job opportunities. But everything they're going to teach you there, you could probably learn better and faster just by working on a set of an actual movie. I think that's the best education, is to actually work on a movie than to go to school and learn about it. Not to mention it's more expensive that way.
But I mean, can you just apply to be on the set to do like some, get some experience if you don't have a college degree?
Yeah, you'll start from the bottom, as a set PA, and it's grunt work.
So that's the lowest part.
That's the lowest of the low, and everyone kind of has to go through that. Even myself.
So it's the guy that you tell them to do, all kind of things.
You're a slave.
Okay.
You're everyone's slave.
I could tell. All right. For a movie, any movie, just to learn, right?
Yeah, I think it's best to learn from doing yourself. I mean, the way I learned is doing my own films. I mean, I didn't have any money. I had cheap camera equipment and a cheap editing system on an old PC. This is back in high school, but I mean, just going out and doing it yourself. And especially now more than ever, when cameras are so cheap, every computer comes with free editing software. Anyone can do it nowadays. Just take some time, and I would also recommend enter film festivals. And just compete with other filmmakers and get to meet other filmmakers. That's what I did, and it worked for me. But it's definitely a valuable experience to do those sort of things.
So what seems to be like a typical career path for a film editor?
I think like many positions in the film industry, there is no set path. Everyone finds their own way very differently, and usually in a way you would not expect. I've even talked with many other editors and the way they got their jobs. I mean, it's one of those things, the right time, right place, meet the right people. I will say this, though. It is good to find a good director, for an editor to find a good director to work with and partner with. For example, Steven Spielberg. He's worked with his editor, Michael Kahn, for I think 30-plus years now or something. He does every one of his movies. So when a director finds an editor that they can work together well with and collaborate with, they'll bring him back for every movie. So that's really kind of the goal, I think, for editors, is to find a director they work well with and to keep working with them.
Would there be a chance for like someone for a country like Vietnam to break into Hollywood? I mean, if you had some skills.
Yeah. If you have the talent and the skill, I mean, I don't think it matters where you're from. I mean, it helps if you speak English to go to Hollywood. But I mean, if you have the skill, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, and a good work attitude, good work ethic, I think is very important.
But I mean, where should they go to? I mean, what kind of doors are there for them to knock? I mean, it's so far away. I mean, is there like a place or like a networking opportunity, or how can you break into Hollywood?
I mean, I'm not Vietnamese, but I'd say if you were in Vietnam, I would first get connected with the local filmmakers in this area. I think that's where you start. And I think the first thing you want to do is build your craft, build your skill set, and then you have something to offer. I mean, they have job opportunities, job applications online you can apply to, I'm sure. And I mean, people are always looking for editors, especially freelance editors, because there's a lot of competition. I mean, like I was saying earlier, everyone has access to a computer that has editing software on it. So there's posts on like Craigslist or whatever looking for freelance editors, and they're all competing for the cheapest price. Yeah.
And that's usually a small budget movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a movie, it could be a commercial, documentary, music video, short film, student film, and some stuff you may have to do pro bono, might have to do for free.
But just to show them you have skills, right?
Yeah, exactly. A sign of good faith, but I think more important than say the money is you want to meet the right people. Your relationships, and especially in Hollywood, your reputation is everything. I mean, I haven't worked on any studio films. I've done all independent films so far, but even in that small community, it's like people I've never met have heard of me. And if I have a good reputation or a bad reputation, it sticks with you. So that's
There's still a lot of like small budget movies that are making a big hit right now. I mean, how do you see that trend going on? I mean,
yeah, I think it's great. I think it all comes down to story. It's as simple as that. If it has a good story, people love to be entertained by a good story. You know, I've seen a lot of big budget Hollywood movies that, you know, $100+ million and they fail because you know they don't have a good story. It's all recycled, the same stories.
So how is the relationship between like you and Dustin? I mean, he's directors. He's also played the main character too, and you're the chief editor. So
Yeah.
you have to work closely with him too, right?
Yeah, the editor in the film process, the editor probably works closer with the director than anyone else on set. They spend the most time together. And Dustin has done just that. He's in there every day with me. You know, he sits behind me, and you know, I'm just editing, doing my job, and you know, occasionally he'll pipe in and say, oh, you know, what if we did this? What if we did that? You know, and that's how we collaborate and work together.
So what's next after this?
I'm going back to the States. I actually leave tomorrow, and I'll go back there for a couple small jobs. But I mean, in this industry, in the world of filmmaking, it's hard to plan too far ahead. You never know when you're going to get that phone call and they want you to come and work on a movie in Vietnam. You know, I didn't expect I'd ever be here, so you just never know.
Vâng, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của Van Snow, là kỹ thuật dựng chính của bộ phim Lửa Phật, cùng với những trải nghiệm của Roger Yuan. Đến đây thì chương trình Tôi Việt Nam kỳ này xin được khép lại. Cảm ơn quý vị đã quan tâm theo dõi. Hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình kỳ sau.